Hello, 8th grade. We're going to go ahead and get started on lesson 92 now. Lesson 92 is a new lesson. We have not done that yet, so we're going to attempt to do that right now. It is called, this is 92, lesson 92, areas of rectangles with variable dimensions. And variable dimensions just means unknown dimensions. We don't quite know what they are yet. And then products of binomials. Okay, and we'll cover that here in a little bit. So if you go to the first example, it shows a rectangle, and the measurements are 2.5 feet. Okay, 2.5 feet by, I believe it's 4.25 feet. I'll have to look here again. Yeah, it's 4.25. If I could write that. Okay, and it wants you to find the area of those two. Okay, what is the total area of that? Well, the book shows you a little bit of a goofy way. I'm just going to show you the normal way that we've always done it in class. And when you do area of a rectangle, you know to multiply the length times the width. So let's just do it like that, because that seems to make the most sense. We've done that basically the whole math career. So just to write it out, 4.25, 4.25, I'm sorry. 4.25 times 2.5. Okay, now we know we can't multiply mixed numbers like that, so we have to change both of these to improper fractions. And again, here's how we do that, okay? So you take the bottom number, so I write B, times the side number, and then you add the top. Okay, and you do that for both of those mixed numbers. So we're going to take the bottom number, which is 4, and we're going to times it by the side, which 4 times 4 is 16, and then we're going to add the top number. 4 times 4 is 16 plus 1 is 17, and then the 4 on the bottom stays the same. Okay, and then we times, and then we're going to do the same thing to the other one on the right, the mixed number on the right. We're going to take the bottom number, which is 2, and we're going to times it by the side, which is 2. 2 times 2 is 4. Add the top, and we get 5 over 2. Okay? And now we just are going to go ahead and multiply these ones out. We're going to go the top numbers times the top numbers, and the bottom numbers times the bottom numbers. So 4 times 2 is 8. Let's do that one first. That's the easy one. And then now we're going to do 17 times 5. We'll do that up here. I got 85, okay? Now, that's our top number. So 85 divided by 8 is going to be then our final answer. So we got one more step to do that, and we just need to leave it as a mixed number. We don't have to get it exactly like decimals, but the mixed number will be exact anyways. So now we just go 85 times 8. Well, how many times is 8 go into 85? Well, 8 goes into 8 one time, okay? And it's actually going to go in 10, and that's going to be 80, okay? There is 5 left over, right? So it's 10 and 5/8. 5 is the left number, or 5 is what's left over. That's our new top number, and 8 is our bottom number. So what is the area for that? Make sure you write it. Then it would be 10 and 5/8 feet squared. That is the area of that, and I'll kind of get out of the way. So again, what did we do? One more time, just to repeat it. We took the mixed numbers, made them into improper fractions. We times the top, the bottom times the bottom, and then we divided it out with a remainder, which was 5. We put that as our top number on the fraction. And how did we know the bottom number was 8? Because that's what we divided by right here. Okay? Let you see that real quick again before we erase it, and we'll move on. Okay? Now, example 2 is, that has a missing number. It tells you that this side of the rectangle is x plus 3. We just don't know how big x is. And the other side, I believe it says it's x plus 2, which it is. Okay, so you have a rectangle with measurements that are not normal, right? Normally we hear 12 feet or, 34 inches or whatever the measurement may be. We don't normally hear, hey, the measurement is x plus 3 or x plus 2. Well, how do you figure out what the area would be? You do the same exact thing. You multiply the length times the width, okay? Now, example 2 in your book shows you a little bit differently way to do it. But 3 and 4, example 3 and example 4, they show you the FOIL method. And I'm going to show you that right away. I think that's one of the best ones to use when you have these types of problems. I'll write that on the board. It's called FOIL. F-O-I-L. And what it stands for, which I'll show you, it stands for first, outer, inner, and then last. So FOIL, first, outer, inner, last. So if we were going to multiply these two, we'd write it like this. We'd write x plus 3, and we'd put that whole thing in parentheses because we want to multiply it by x plus 2. Okay, so now this is where the FOIL method comes into play here. First, outer, inner, last. Now you're going to multiply all these things and you're going to write these down and then add them up and you'll get your final answer. It'll hopefully make sense in a bit. So first, that's what we're going to do right away. The F stands for first. You're going to take the first, in this case, letter, and you're going to multiply it by the first, in this case, letter, the very first spot in the parentheses. Okay, so you're going to do the x times the x. X times the x. I'm going to write the F over here so you see that's what we did first. Okay, I'll put a little arrow right there. That equals x squared. It's just 2 x's. You can't evaluate that or simplify that anymore because we just don't know what x is. So that's how you do it. X times x equals x squared. Okay, so x squared will be part of our answer. We're just not done yet. Now let's go to the O. Now you do the outer numbers. Okay, and the outer ones, this is on the outside and this is on the outside. Okay, so the first x is, and again, you're going to multiply it, and you're going to multiply it times 2. And again, you can't simplify this any further. X times 2 just equals 2x. That's all. That's the furthest it can go. Okay? So, the outer numbers is x times 2, 2x. The inner numbers is 3 times, these are the two inside numbers, 3 times x. So I'm going to write the I, that stands for inner, and it's 3 times x. Well, that just equals 3x. Okay? And then the last one, the last number is in the parentheses. This is the last number, and that's the last number. So the L is 3 times 2, which equals 6. So now we're going to put all of our answers, these 4 answers, we're going to put them together in one answer. And you always start with the exponents first. So I'm going to list my exponents, which is x squared. So the top row is done. And now you got to combine the other ones that are like terms. Well, the only other ones that are like terms are these x's. I have 3 x's here. I have 2 more here. So you're going to actually combine these together. 3 plus 2 is going to be 5x, and that's a positive number. So you're going to write plus 5x. Okay? And then it's just the last thing, the 6 by itself, you can't combine it with anything else. So then, and it is a positive 6, so now it turns into plus 6. Okay? And that is your final answer for what the area would be if you were going to find the area of the rectangle. This would be your answer right here. X squared plus 5x plus 6. Okay? So we're going to do one more like that. If you look, I'm just going to do example 3. Example 3 and 4 are they're the same thing. They're just with different numbers. You use the same exact method. FOIL, first, outer, inner, last. And you get your answer to the problem. So I will erase this one. Okay, and it wants us to, the question says expand x plus 3 and x plus 2. Well, we just did that one. Actually, let's do the other one. Let's do example 4, okay? We'll expand x minus 3 and x minus 4, because we haven't done that one. So this is example 4. It's x minus 3 and x minus 4. And we're going to FOIL it. First, outer, inner, last. Well, the first one is x times x, which equals x squared. Okay? Outer numbers is this x and that negative 4. You have to include the sign before it. That's very important. Okay, so the outer numbers is x times negative 4. And that's going to be negative 4x. You just combine them all together and write it like that. The inner numbers, which comes next, is the negative 3 and the x. It's the negative 3 times x. And again, you just combine those. It's negative 3x. Okay? And then the last numbers. The last number here is negative 3. The last number here is negative 4. So it's negative 3 times negative 4. And remember, when you already have two negatives in the problem, your answer then becomes positive. So it's actually going to be positive 12. And now we're going to combine these 4 answers to one answer. Again, you start with the exponents. So your first part is x squared. And then you are going to combine the like terms, which there's x's that you can combine. Okay? We already, if you want to look at it, we lost 4 x's. Okay? And we end up losing 3 more x's for a total loss of minus 7x. That's how you would write that. Okay? And then the last part, this is a positive number, and it's a 12, so you write plus 12. Okay, and then that would be your final answer of expanding x minus 3 times x minus 4. Again, use the FOIL method, first, outer, inner, last, and that should set you on track. Okay, so one more time, just to reiterate, this week, again, we will be meeting on Wednesdays and Thursdays. Wednesdays at 12:30 and Thursdays at 2. Okay, so hope that helped, and have a good rest of the day.